Have archaeologists at long last found evidence of the legendary Garden of Eden? Investigate the startling finding that has the potential to change history and calls our ideas about where humans sprang from into question. Is this an opportunity to rethink what we know about past civilizations, or has paradise been lost forever? The biblical Garden of God that is mentioned in the book of Genesis in relation to the creation of man is called the Garden of Eden. This paradise is also referred to as paradise. The story focuses on Adam and Eve, who are described as the first visible men and women to exist. They are described as being placed in the garden to watch over the tree of life, but they give in to the temptation of a serpent and eat fruit from another tree, which ultimately results in their expulsion. Based on the hints provided in the biblical text, many people have spent a significant amount of time looking for its location, but the answer to the age-old mystery may have finally been found. An adventurous group of archaeologists was working in the tranquility of northern Iraq, close to the borders of Turkey and Iran, when they unearthed a startling discovery that would cause the history books to be rewritten and capture the curiosity of people all over the world. The long-forgotten Garden of Eden, a legendary paradise steeped in myth and enigma, has emerged from the shadows of antiquity to bask in the light of contemporary understanding. An accomplished archaeologist by the name of Dr. Emily Collins was in charge of the group as they set out on a difficult mission to uncover the mysteries of bygone civilizations. What they actually saw was something that was beyond their wildest imaginations. It was a verdant and entrancing oasis that had been hidden for millennia from curious eyes. The beautiful scenery, which was resplendent with an abundance of flora and fauna, inspired feelings of amazement and wonder. It was almost as if the very essence of paradise had been resurrected. Scholars and enthusiasts from all over the world were astounded by the revelation's potential repercussions as the news of the discovery quickly spread across the globe like wildfire. Others pondered the cultural import of this recent unearthed treasure, while others interpreted it as material confirmation of the account of Genesis found in the Bible. It has been long since relegated to the realms of legend and religious books, but now the Garden of Eden stood as a concrete witness to the superior grasp that ancient civilizations had of agriculture and the natural world. As the researchers dug deeper into the site, they had the aim of discovering previously unknown tales, as well as the knowledge that it carried, which would forever reshape our view of early human history, as well as humanity's connection with the land. The astonishing discovery was made when Dr. John Smith, an eminent archaeologist who was in charge of an accomplished group of individuals, was keeping a watchful eye and providing competent direction. This was not the first time that this crew had uncovered previously unknown mysteries, but what they found this time was beyond anything that any of them could have possibly imagined. When the archaeologists explored farther into the wilderness, they came across a mysterious cave system that had been hidden from the prying eyes of the outside world for many years. As they progressed farther into the core of the underground maze, they began to feel a growing sense of exhilaration as they came to the realization that the caverns they were exploring were not typical caves. The group navigated the complex network of tunnels beneath the city using historical documents and inscriptions as their guides. Each step brought them closer to discovering an incredible revelation that awaited them, and eventually the fruits of their labor were born, in the form of the discovery of a beautiful garden buried many layers beneath the surface of the earth. This underground garden, which appeared to have been unspoiled by time, was a breathtaking sight. An aperture in the cave's roof served as a source of natural light, which encouraged the growth of luxuriant flora, colorful flowers, and unusual species. The discovery filled the archaeologists with a sense of astonishment and wonder as they gazed in awe at the hypnotizing grandeur of the long-lost refuge. Dr. John Smith and his colleagues were aware that they had uncovered a vast treasury of historical information that was just sitting there, waiting to be carefully interpreted and comprehended. While they continued their painstaking exploration, the world waited with bated breath, anticipating the unveiling of the age-old mysteries that had been kept hidden within the garden's embrace. A cave that is buried in myth and legend is said to be located deep within the heart of a mountain range that is very distant and very isolated. This grotto, which was shielded from the prying eyes of the outside world, was home to a mind-boggling mystery that had the potential to rewrite the annals of archaeology and botanical science. Within the limits of the cave, which were only poorly lit, flourished a marvelous assortment of plants and vegetation that were genetically separate from one another. It was like a living museum of ancient biodiversity. These plants bore an eerie resemblance to the descriptions that were recorded in ancient scriptures, most notably the Bible, which sparked curiosity and wonder among individuals who happened upon this hidden jewel by accident. The cave's inside was permeated with an unearthly aroma, a single concoction of floral odors that appeared to contain the very essence of time itself. The air was heavy with the odor. Researchers were astounded by the find, since it appeared to provide evidence for the existence of a long-lost garden that existed prior to the beginning of recorded human history. As they progressed deeper into the cave, they discovered a treasure trove of ancient relics, each of which had been painstakingly preserved by the cave's natural environment. Artifacts such as pottery, implements, and mysterious artifacts date back to a time that has been forgotten for a very long time, a time when humanity was still in its infancy. Each item revealed a story from the garden's long-forgotten past, as well as a piece of hidden information about the mysterious people who lived there. This cave has become a living witness to the mysteries that surround the history of our planet, a revelation of a world that has remained unspoiled by the passage of time. Because of the genetic singularity of the plants and the relics, which mirrored the past, scientists and historians were invited on an exciting quest to discover the secrets of the garden that once was. The biblical account of the Garden of Eden paints a picture of an idyllic paradise, a creation of God that was fashioned especially for Adam and Eve, the first humans to walk the earth. It is tucked away in a domain that is otherworldly, and the beauty that it exudes is one that stirs the spirit. The area is covered with thick vegetation, and its lush beauty is so expansive that it encompasses every square inch. The residents of this land are blessed with a bountiful feast at their fingertips, thanks to the towering trees that bear plentiful fruits in a variety of hues and flavors. A soft breeze swishes through the garden, causing the leaves on the trees to rustle, and it carries with it the melodious harmony of the water running down the river. These rivers wind about in an elegant manner, their waters so clear that they seem to caress the ground and infuse the atmosphere with invigorating freshness. Majestic animals, both those that are wild and those that are tame, roam freely throughout this paradise, content to bask in the goodness of their Creator. The Garden of Eden is more than just a beautiful place to look at. It is also a refuge of tranquility, a place where one can escape the stresses and strains of the outer world. Both Adam and Eve seek comfort in one another's companionship at this place. Their hearts have joined together in an unbreakable link. Their days are filled with happiness and pleasure, and the air is thick with the sweetness of innocence and trust. The essence of God's love and providence thrives in this ancient sanctuary, providing a glimpse of the divine desire for humankind to live in peace with nature, one another, and the Creator of all things. Over the course of several centuries, the precise location of the Garden of Eden has remained a mystery and a hotly contested topic of discussion, continuing to captivate the imaginations of academics, historians, and enthusiasts alike. There have been numerous hypotheses and theories developed, and each of them proposes a distinct physical location for this legendary paradise. Mesopotamia, sometimes known as the cradle of civilization, is one popular candidate for the location of the Garden of Eden. This is the region where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers originally ran, which produced a very rich environment. The historical significance of this area, as well as references to it found in older sources, has given credence to the theory that the garden may have been located inside the confines of these bounds. Alternately, proponents of an African location say that the Nile River Valley or other locations in Africa could have been the actual site of Eden. They believe that this is more likely than any other location on the continent. This viewpoint is supported by numerous convincing arguments, including Africa's abundant biodiversity, lush landscapes, and ties to the early history of humankind. It has been hypothesized that the Garden of Eden once existed on a landmass that has since been obliterated by the weight of the water that covers the surface of the planet's oceans. This hypothesis is thought to be both intriguing and contentious. This concept is derived from the mythologies and accounts of catastrophic floods that may be found in a wide variety of cultures all over the world. The precise site of the Garden of Eden has been the subject of a great deal of conjecture and investigation over the years, yet its whereabouts continue to elude any sort of positive identification. The search for the elusive paradise continues, and as a result, the appeal and intrigue that surround this old myth persist. New discoveries and archaeological findings continue to surface. Since ancient times, the concept of the Garden of Eden has been open to a wide range of interpretations from academics, theologians, and believers alike. Some people see it as a metaphor for a profound spiritual trip and the human search for enlightenment and self-discovery, and this is how they understand the meaning of the concept. In this interpretation, the garden is a metaphor for a condition in which harmony and purity predominate, as well as a joyous connection with the divine. It is a reflection of the natural human urge to find purpose and meaning in one's life, as well as to establish a connection with greater power. On the other hand, there are some people who imagine the Garden of Eden to be a real location, a paradisiacal setting that was once part of the ancient world and has since been lost. These believers frequently consult religious scriptures as well as archaeological material in order to provide support for their assertions. According to them, the garden is a real physical area that is brimming with an abundance of resources and was the home of the first people who coexisted peacefully with the natural world and one another. Regardless of how one chooses to interpret it, the Garden of Eden will always be a potent metaphor that has and will continue to fascinate the imagination of humans. It serves as a reminder of the human yearning for a utopian existence, a yearning that transcends religious and cultural boundaries and reflects the global search for a life that is better and has more significance. The fascination of the garden endures regardless of whether one views it as a metaphorical excursion or a physical reality. It compels people to look for their own unique interpretation of paradise, both inside and outside of themselves. The latest unearthing of ancient relics has sent shockwaves across the scholarly community and prompted the posing of fresh issues regarding the ageless story of Adam and Eve. The findings, which were uncovered during an archaeological trip in a distant region, offer insight into the relevance of this ancient story and present exciting potential for additional investigation. It is possible that the story of Adam and Eve has deeper roots in the cultures of antiquity than was previously assumed, as suggested by the artifacts. As academics investigate these newly discovered hints, they are compelled to reconsider the story's beginnings and its development, which in turn sparks discussions over the story's various cultural influences and the symbolic meanings it conveys. The discovery has inspired curiosity in the agricultural techniques and environmental circumstances of ancient civilizations, both of which have been brought to light as a result of the discovery. Researchers are eager to learn more about the ways in which ancient cultures interacted with their natural environments, grew crops, and responded to the obstacles posed by the environment. This newly discovered information holds the potential to reveal insightful and useful information regarding the agricultural advancements of bygone eras. As scholars venture into these unexplored territories of inquiry, they do so with the expectation that the answers they seek will not only deepen our comprehension of bygone civilizations, but also shed light on the complex historical ties that have existed between humans and the environments in which they have lived. The impact of the discovery can be felt well beyond the boundaries of academic institutions. It has the power to captivate the minds of history buffs and stimulate interest in our common history. Thanks for watching. For more videos, kindly subscribe to the channel